And welcome back to Wealth Principle 10. This is the 52 weeks to wealth we've been journeying through 10 weeks now. Wealth Principle 10 is increase your income in increments and surges. Increase your income in increments and surges. What that means is that money is not just designed to come in a paycheck. It's not just designed to come in $100 bill at a time. Those are increments. A raise would be an increment. So let's say every week you get $400 a month, a $500 addition to it, $100 addition to it every month or every week would be an increment. That would be a nice small increment. If you got, let's say, an additional, we'll call this $1,000 out of nowhere, maybe it's not reproducing itself, but it's just $1,000, that's a surge. Hands to the camera if you like increments and surges. You know you need them both. Excellent, excellent. Every business needs both. Every business needs both, but not every business thinks about both. Not every business is actually built to attain both. Many people go out and build it, and by the way, you are a business. Hands to the camera if you recognize that you are a business. Excellent. So when I say, how many business owners here, hands to the camera? Every hand should be up. Perfect. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. We might be in the right room, but I'll ask one qualifying question. Hands to the camera if you want to make more money this year. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you want to do it spending less time. Excellent. Excellent. That's enough support in the opinion that we're in the right room. You see, money is designed to grow when you put it to things that grow. Money is designed to create small little increments when you put in things that create small increments. And money has a special gift where it can explode in surges when you put it in investments that allow it to grow in surges. Now, the relationship you have with money will dictate what you believe that money is capable of. And if you have not built yourself up to be somebody who can deliver for money and put money into good investments, then money will only ever be able to deliver what you believe it's capable of and what you're capable of putting it into. Hands to the camera if that's a relatively vague statement and you like a little clarity around it. Excellent. So money is there's a lot of emotions around money. But before I explain why and how those emotions work, I want to mention that I sell a mentorship to help build millionaires. Hands to the camera if you're not afraid to become a millionaire. And let me phrase that differently. Hands to the camera if you would actually like to be a millionaire. You'd like to have $1 million. Excellent. Hands to the camera if you believe it's possible for you. Excellent. So I sell a mentorship that guarantees it. So if you're looking to become a millionaire over the next 3 to 5 years, the mentorship is the step to get you there. I'll drop my link in the chat, but I'll also ask Darina to drop her link if she's willing to have conversations with people this week. Darina, are you available for conversations this week? I know we're traveling. Yes?
I am.
Excellent. So please drop your Calendly link. And mine's just waltermorello.com/GA. I get paid an affiliate fee if you pay with that link. So use the GA. It means a lot to me. So that I can beat my team.
Me. You can talk to me.
Or you can talk to Darina. And if you talk to Darina, you use her affiliate link. Hands to the camera if we commit. If we talk to Darina, we use her link. Same if we talk to Elizabeth Miller, we use her link. If we talk to Kevin Ferrer, we use their link. Whoever was inspiring enough to bring us in, if you talk to Kim Harvey, if you talk to Mike Shine or Mitch, use their link. I love paying my affiliates. I love it. That's one of the increments. Right? When I see them making money, I'm like, ooh, they made an increment. They made a little increment right there. I'm okay with that. That's one more way that I can pay. Hands to the camera if you know you like to pay people. All right, we'll work on it. Okay. Hands to the camera if you're like, I don't know if I should. Do I like to pay people or not? I see you. I see you. Look, here's what I've discovered. I love to pay people because I got one principle. My money always makes money. Write this down. My money always makes money. The only thing that ever changes with your money is it will be an increment or a surge. And if it's a surge, it may take a little longer, but that's okay. And if it's an increment, it should be back pretty quick. But your money always makes more money. Now this is a relationship with money. It's a relationship. I had this conversation with my girlfriend and with my brother this week, and I told them because they were in my coaching program. They just jumped in. Some of you have already been in the coaching program for a little while, and so we've had these conversations around money. But all right, Ken, Melanie, Saeed, but Darina and Josh, I told them, I was like, look, think of, and I want to do this together with everybody. Hands to the camera if you want to see a little of the back end to the coaching program that I run. Excellent. This is not the cheap one. This, by the way, is only available for $25,000 now. So pretty unattainable for most people. And I get that. That's okay. It's just that my time is limited. Are you ready for this? I want to make sure that I raise the value on this little tip. All right. So when you look at money, I want you to look at it as a relationship, right? So if you look at money and you look at it as a relationship, as a person, what are your feelings in that relationship? What I mean is, does money come and spend a lot of time with you? Is money always there spending time with you? Is money doing favors for you? Or does it seem like money is almost never there, right? Kind of not around often. And then when you want them, it's like you got to really work yourself up. You got to make a big deal out of it. And like maybe they'll show up in small amounts, right? Or is it that money's kind of like one of your friends who's always busy and traveling and they're always spending time with everybody else? Seems like everybody else got time with money, and money only comes to you if you're like, all right, let me think about this for a little while, and I'm going to make a phone call and just see if I can get money's attention. But you wouldn't ask for money to drop everything they've got going right now with all of their different friends. Hands to the camera if you can relate to this. You can kind of understand how money there's a relationship with it. I saw my brother, and he reminded me that the richest man in Babylon, they say money is your slave. Money is your slave. And he was like, so, should I think of it that way? And I was like, bro, like, unless it's your favorite servant, I wouldn't quite think of money as a slave that you can just force it to do things and tell it what to do. And it's going to go out there and operate, because unless you're feeling good about that, like, unless you're one of those people who like feels good about forcing people to do things, it's eventually going to make you feel bad about putting money to work. Instead, look at it more as somebody who is aspiring to replace you. Write this down. My money is aspiring to replace me. I think about my company. At some point, I want somebody to be on stage doing what I do, but I want them to be better than I am. I want them to have a better purpose, higher energy, a better communication skills. I want them to be able to attract and pull people in better than I do, so that the mission expands faster and bigger and better than I am currently doing it. Hands to the camera if you think I'm doing the best that I can. Thank you. Thank you. I grow daily. I think there's more. I'm constantly continuing to grow and improve. And I want to
I'm
thank each
thinking.
one of our coaches for the time that they spend to mold me and improve me. Dr. Terry, most recently this week. So let's give all the coaches a round of applause.
I'm thinking we can have you step up just a little bit more.
There's always a little more juice. There's always a little more. And so think of money as, this is my replacement. Money is my replacement. So I am working on building a business, but I want money to be my protege. I want it to learn the skills. I want money to have the ability. I want money to have the drive. I want it to have the purpose. And how can I do that? How can I inspire money to be so energetic, to have the same beliefs as me, to have the same core values, to go out there and want to build something amazing, so that I know this thing always runs? Hands to the camera if you can kind of visualize and understand that it makes more sense to, if somebody was inspired. So hands to the camera if you have a business. Again, we'll do that again. And hands to the camera if you love your children to be able to run the same business. If you built a business, it's really cool and you love your kids to take it over for you. Excellent. Excellent. There's Doug McGurk's little girl. Hey. So think about that. Think about that business that you've built, that you love, and you hope your children will love. You hope your children will do better with it. It'll build on the life of their dreams. And now focus on that relationship with your child. This is somebody you love. You want to see them grow. Hands to the camera if you have a child. Hands to the camera if you have children. Hands to the camera if you know somebody who has children. Hands to the camera if you've ever seen a child before in your life at some point. Yes. And so recognize like their parents love them, right? You love your children quite a bit. And there's an emotion around it. There's some intensity when you think of your child, when you think of, and hear me out on this, when you think of what they're capable of, when you think about their future, when you think about what they're becoming, where they're going, what possibilities they have, who they could become, what impact they could leave, the experiences they could feel. When you think about your children or your nieces and nephews or grandkids, you think about potential, you think about potentiality, you think about possibility, right? And then on the other side of it, and I'll promise I don't like to go into the dark spaces, but say something happened to those children. You feel the pain, the fear, the concern, the I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. Hands to the camera if you know what I'm talking about. Think of your money as your child, right? Some of you may have more luck doing this with your spouse. For me personally, I think of my money as my spouse or my best relationship. And I want to see my best relationship grow. I want to see, I tell Doreen all the time, my goal is your happiness. At any given point, if you see me on stage, I'm doing what makes her happy. Hands to the camera if you can connect with that. You understand like that's what you do as a spouse. It's like 100%. I got a business to run. I got a spouse to keep happy, family third, and then all my friends support the mission. Right. So like there's a hierarchy to what you're doing. Mission first, spouse, family, friends, and your friends better support the mission. If they don't support the mission, they're not real friends. Hence the camera if you can recognize that. Yeah. If they can't get behind you building your business and changing the world, man, they need to get behind. Leave them behind, right? Forget them. They're not doing you any favors. And I know there's people who will tell me later on, oh, people are important. Like, yo, there's 8 billion though, right? We're not running out of people, right? We're running out of real estate, but not people. So we can adjust. We can get ourselves better people. We can surround ourselves with better people. So this relationship with your child is a lot like money or your spouse. You want to see them grow. I want to see Dorina growing every day. I want to see that she's reading books. I want to see that she's happy. I want to see she's doing the things that make her feel good. I want to see that she feels she's got a new skill or a new ability. I think about her building her life and her business 10 years from now, and it gets me excited. I think about the woman that she's becoming. So with your children or your spouse, you think about that growth mentality, that growth mindset. Now shift it over to your dollars. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday on Be the Bank. Ken Hoffman, I see your little girl. What's up? That's a little moneymaker right there. I see his future millionaire all over her face. Hell yeah. If your children are listening, and I swear, I apologize. But one day they'll be adults and they'll understand. Let's give everybody who's got a child a round of applause for taking the risk. Taking the risk. Nancy, I see your kids too. Awesome. Excellent. It's Saturday morning. Why not? We're going to go learn how to build wealth. Children should learn. If I'd known this stuff, I did my first loan when I was 17. If I'd known this stuff, I would have been doing my loans way earlier. I had my first bond at 15. I should have had bonds when I was 8 years old. I should have had bonds when I was 5 years old. Like as soon as I could speak words, my parents should have been like, yeah, sure. Of course I'll take you to the bank. Like I should have been begging them at that age. Hands to the camera if you recognize it's your responsibility to make sure your kids are financially intelligent, right? Ken Hoffman has an experience with his children. He actually had his children invest in a coin op machine. They own, his daughter owns her own washer and dryer. That gives them quarters. And then I had a conversation with Ken the other day and I said, Ken, did you know some of those quarters could be silver? And he's like, I didn't know, but I'll let my kids know. And then his kids now had to go find the quarters that were silver. They doubled their return on investment. Let's give them a round of applause. It's cool. I love it. So excellent. Anytime I get a chance to work that story in, I do. So his daughter's on the camera, so perfect time. Let's treat money like your children. And let's put it into investments that are going to grow them. It may be difficult for them at first, right? They may have a little bit of a hard time, but you want them to grow. And so sometimes you put them into a new school or a new program, or you have them start a new training, or you have them start a new hobby, or you suggest that they read a new book or they start something fun for themselves that will grow them, put them in an uncomfortable situation. Sometimes you move across the country and you put them in a new school, and now they have to meet all these new friends, but it builds a skill set in their mind that as an adult, they'll be fine. So put it into things that are going to grow it. But if there's a chance that it could get hurt, do the same thing you would do with your children. Protect, guard, put barriers in place. Maybe don't use that investment, right? So parents, imagine there's a playground. There is a playground, but this playground also has a vicious predator called an alligator sitting on the playground, right? Would we think that this great experience is a good idea? Hands to the camera if you know you would not put your children on that playground with an alligator. Excellent. Now, same scenario. Let's pretend it's the same exact situation. You see an alligator playground, and some parents say, nope, I'm not going in there, not going in there. But you do. You send your child in. I know what you're thinking. Why is that? Because the alligator is made out of plastic. The alligator is made out of plastic, and it's actually a seesaw that the kids can get on. And so understanding the investment, understanding what you're looking at, understanding what may look like a bad situation could actually be a good situation. You have to understand the situation 100% and understand the scenario. Real estate investing has its pitfalls, for sure. There can be dangerous things that happen in real estate, like losing money. But real estate investing also looks more dangerous than it is. Hands to the camera. If I told you, we put in, I don't know, we've put in probably $15 million worth of offers this week. Does that sound exciting to you? Outside of this room, if I told somebody I put in $15 million this week, they'd say, you have that much money. And then if I told them I have almost, I think all I have is like $500,000 in the bank right now, they would shit themselves, right? That means poop. They would be terrified, right? They would be like, oh my God, how can you do that? How can you go and put, that's crazy. Looks dangerous. But real estate investors, nothing has been risked. No money is up. All I've done is put in an offer. Hence, can't if you understand it. There's no fear. There's nothing wrong with putting in an offer. It's like sending your kid to the playground where there's a plastic alligator. Like, they're going to be okay. Just looks scary from a distance. So anyway, increments and surges. Dorina, I want to talk to you today about one of your deals, something that you recently did. Increments, rent income. You're increasing income in small increments. Rent income is an increment. Bonds are an increment. Stocks that provide dividends can be an increment. Hiring somebody to take over a task, and now you're making hiring a salesperson, right? So when I hire people into the real estate agency or into the training company, increments, you get little increments of income. Surges are when I sell a company. Surges are when I sell a piece of real estate. Surges are when I sell a big training course. If I go and I sell, we'll say the coaching program for $25,000, I sell 4 of them at a big 1-day or a big 3-day event. That'd be a surge, right? That's $100,000 that otherwise wouldn't have been there if that event hadn't been done. Hands to the camera if you recognize the difference between increments and surges. Excellent. Dorina, tell us a little bit about the deal that you just put under, how much you bought it for, how much you locked it down for, and how much you're making.
Sure. So that 3-family house that I bought in 2018 in May.
And by the way, the reason I like to use Dorina for this example is I don't think enough people know how much she owns. I don't think enough people understand that she came from another country, came from Russia, came to America, worked, slept in basements, slept on couches, figured it out all by herself with no family here, and then started buying real estate. And she's done amazing for herself. So Dorina, go ahead. I want to hear the deal.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't really share my story because I don't see too much of significance in that story because to me it was kind of normal thing to do. And I did came 10 years ago and I started investing in real estate in 2015, pretending to be an investor. And I closed on my first deal in 2017. It was a small duplex. Everybody overlooked it, but it was actually one of my best investments. I still own that house. So total units that I own is 8 or just 8, I want to say.
Let's give Darina a round of applause. She owns 8 units, over $1 million of real estate. It's pretty cool. And I didn't help her do any of it. This was all by herself, long before I came into the picture.
Thank you. So 8 units, and now I am understanding that it's a great time to sell. And one of the properties are not really a cash producing property anymore since I hired a property manager. So quick tip, make sure when you run your numbers, you actually add a property manager into equation, even though you think you will be running a business yourself. At some point, you decide you want to move on. So I'm selling a house, and we put one of these properties on the market on April 1st, and I got multiple offers sight unseen, and we still have an open house today. It's in Worcester. And by Monday, we decided that we do best and final. And I cannot believe that people are paying that much money for this house, but they're making offers. I mean, it's a solid property. It does cash flow if you want to hold it long enough. But
what you mean is it will cash flow one day. It does not cash flow.
Well, it's a high maintenance property. It's a 100 years old building, so it requires this and that, and eventually the heater replacement or a new kitchen and cabinets falling off the walls because they were placed like 20 years ago, stuff like that. And I bought it off market because I met an investor during networking events. I built a relationship with an investor. He was pitching that deal a few times on stage, and I said, you know what? How about, I'll be the buyer. Let's work it out. I paid $225 3 years ago for this building, and I'm selling it for potentially $430 this year. And I only put
$430, selling it for $430. She paid how much?
$225, and I only put
$225.
down 3.5%, and I had
How
the
much did you
seller
put
credit.
down?
3.5%. So what is it, like 10,000? I also asked for credit back for closing. So I literally had just 2 months worth of saving from my job at that time.
What is your profit on this deal?
Well, roughly to 200K.
Let's give
I
Darina a round of
surge.
applause.
And I'm putting that in crypto, by the way.
Hold on, we'll see.
I'm so
Don't let
sorry.
Mike get to you. Hands to the camera if you recognize that what Darina did, you can do. That's called a surge. A surge. They take time, they take investment, they take dedication, they take commitment. Surges are a long-term play. So if you think you're going to get rich overnight, think again. Now you can have the idea and thought overnight, and you can implement overnight. You can put an offer in overnight, but you have to commit to that thought and that decision every day. Every day I have a decision to make. Am I going to sell my real estate, or am I going to buy more real estate? Every single day. Real estate investors, hands to the camp if you recognize that decision's there every day. Every single day. I look at the portfolio and I say, okay, all right, that's $6 million worth of real estate. And I look at the other portfolio, my personal portfolio, and I look at my crypto, and I look at my stocks, and I look at my cash, and I look at my business, and I think, well, which one could I sell today if I'm looking to do something else? And I make a decision every day. I'm going to keep going. I want to keep going. And most of these are 10-year, 20-year plans, right? Most of these they're just very long investments. And you have to start thinking that way, because if you want to break $1 billion, you can't think in terms of 5 years. You can't think in terms of 10 years. You have to think bigger, right? If you want to make $1 million, you can't think in terms of 1 year. right? Is it possible to make $1 million in a year? Yes, I've done it 2 years in a row. Of course, it's possible. But could you do it in year one? Somebody can, but it is much more difficult because you have to get the increments first. You have to get the little surges, then the bigger surges show up, and then you get comfortable with them. I don't know why. I do not know why. I just know that at some point, your increments add up to become surges. And if you do the right increments, they add up to be massive surges. With real estate, Dorina was making money off of those rents. On that particular building, it wasn't much. It wasn't significant. And so when I asked her, which one do you want to sell? She was like, I know the one. I got the building. Trust me, this building's going. And so it was an easy play. And the surge on the other side allows her to 10x her money that she's already 20x, right? 20 times return from being committed to real estate early on. Now, there's other examples of increments and surges. Let's see, who do we have here? Mike Shine. Actually, Mike, you want to do the book of the week?
¿Por qué no? Why
Hell
not?
yeah.
Woo! I got my thing. It's hard to see because of my
Put it
amazing
in front of your
background.
face. It'll show up. Well, no.
There we
go.
Face just disappeared.
There we go.
Dorina, do you have it? Is it in your room?
Hang on, I'll just get rid of the
There it is. The 12-week year. You can see it on Dorina's screen there.
background. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go.
Avery's got it. Let's give Avery and Dorina a round of applause. The 12-week year. It's a great book. Mike's got it. There he is. All right, Mike.
Dorina,
bring us
what
in
was
on that book.
what was that background, Dorina? Is that Tahiti or Bora Bora? Where the picture?
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. It's on my virtual vision board, so maybe we can do the location mastermind in Bora Bora someday. Look at that.
Now that everybody agrees, I guess we don't have an option.
Yeah.
Hands to the camera if you'd be okay with a destination event in Bora Bora talking about real estate, making money, and building your business. Yeah,
Look
I'm
at
sold
that.
too. Mike Shine, the book of the week.
Okay, so the book of the week is The 12-Week Year by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. This is an amazing book because what we tend to do as human beings is right around December or maybe January, we do our New Year's resolutions and we say, this is what we're going to do. And we plan out the whole year. And then somewhere around January 17th, we don't go to the gym anymore, right? Right? Even though we paid for a whole year at the gym, or we don't plan, or we let it go. And then suddenly in November, we're like, shit, I gotta get going to make my year. And it's just a simple mind shift, which is basically take your plans and turn it, instead of a 12-month year, turn it into a 12-week year. So on January 1st, you only have till March 31st to get everything accomplished. And this guy went into Fortune 500 insurance companies, and they used this book to train the insurance agents, and the productivity went absolutely through the roof because people were not waiting and every day was crucial. And it's so inspiring, and it's just a mindset change that makes it so you don't push everything off or give up on projects because every day matters. And if you want to get anything accomplished, like if you have a goal, read the 12-week year or listen to it on Audible, and then put whatever that project is into this system. And I'm telling you, you will crush it. That is the 12-week year. Thank you.
Let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. All right, so you know I like exercises. Hands to the camera if you would like to increase your increments and increase your surges. You would like more of them in your life. Excellent. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of increments. Increments, I'll use my own personal examples. Increments would be, I sell the mentorship. I sell a $1,200 product to somebody. I bring them in. That's a small increment. That is something that happens pretty consistently, but I could increase my increments by going and having a conversation like this each week. Hands to the camera if you know that the mentorship is probably a good idea for you. And at some point you plan on jumping in. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, at some point I'll jump into it. Excellent. So that's an increment. That's an increment of income. The mastermind is another increment. That's a $5,000 product. It's a much bigger product, lasts a lot longer, and we go a little deeper. So that's another increment. I wouldn't quite call it a surge for me. For other people, a $5,000 check, hands to the camera, if that would be considered a surge. That'd be like, hey, that's a nice little bonus. All right.
Mini surge.
So it's a nice surge. Yeah, it's a surge.
Mini.
Okay. And then we have a coaching program that we sell for $25,000. That is more of a surge to me, right? Because the first two are increments. And now I sell more of the mentorship than I sell in the mastermind, because the mastermind tends to be for people who are like, okay, we're going to the next level. And then I sell even less of the big $25,000 program, which includes, destination, one-on-one with me. It's a bigger program with a lot, but it's not for everybody. Like there's just, you reduce the amount of people that will be able to buy it by increasing the price and by increasing the amount of involvement with it. Many people will say, I'm not there yet. It just doesn't make sense for me. Like, unless I was going to earn an extra $250,000 this year, why would I do that program? Hands to the camera if that makes sense. So the surges are more rare. They're like a different animal. And so you live off of your increments. The things that you can get quick. Hands to the camera if you have ever Ubered or been in an Uber. I think Uber is an increment. It's an incremental income, right? It's something that if something happened, boom, I can go Uber. For me, my Uber was painting. If ever I ended up in a tough spot with my property, my business, I would just go paint my units, right? Instead of paying somebody else, I just go paint them. And if, instead of paying somebody else like a leasing agent, I would just go lease my own units out. Like if ever I needed to make more money, I could just go save money in the business that I'd built. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. The business is gotten to the point where like, if I need to save money, it's like, I'm painting my own apartment today. I saved $1,000 or $2,000. So I can make money by saving money. That's again, increments. Or you can do the opposite where you go in and hands to the camera if you'd like to know what I would do if I lost everything. If I lost all the money. Excellent. My story is the same as it's always been. I would show up at Home Depot. I would stand out front and ask what everybody's doing. Hey, what are you doing today? Hey, what are you working on? Hey, what are you working on? Until I found a job I wanted. And then I would take the job. I would go and do it. I'd take pictures with my free Obama phone. And then I would go and I would post those on my Facebook and I'd ask other people if they wanted that. And I'd go back to Home Depot and I would ask all day, what are you working on? What are you working on? What are you working on? Until I got myself a nice roofing position. Once I got a roofing position, I just flip roofs for a couple of days, just a couple of days. And then I put something under agreement, put a piece of real estate under agreement. That would be my surge to get me out of the situation. And I would stack increments for the next month or two. And then after that is done, I'm not worried about increments. I'm not thinking about increments. Once I've gotten my surge out, my surge will be, 5 to 6 months from that first point. But once I've gotten my surge lined up and taken care of, I'm right back in the game. I don't got to worry about things. Hands to the camera if you understand, real estate has a system and a process to it. You've got to get the surges, but you can't get the surges without the increments. They are key to your survival, but you can't spend all your time on increments. They'll never get you rich unless you can turn them into surges. And I'm not one of those people who loves the high volume game. Like building this training company, my easiest path was go straight to the $25,000 program. Like that, my mind was just like, I'm just going to go and charge $25,000 to 10 people. There's my $250,000. I'm good. Right. Like that's the easy path to me. That's the path of least resistance. This mission, however, does not allow me to go the easy path. It does in some way, but this is a volume game. In order to get 100 millionaires, you have to reach out to 10,000 people because millionaires are 1% of the population. Hands to the camera if you know you're looking to become one of the 1%. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And I know you can be. I know you are. I know you're working on it because you show up every single week. I recognize your faces. Many of you I'm partners with. Many of you have already invested in my company. South Coast Capital Investments is proud to have our friends invested with us, people who are intelligent, real estate investors. In fact, one of my buddies who's lent us money in the past, I was on the phone with him yesterday. He said, so who's invested? How many people are you looking to take? And I was like, 10 to 15. And he's like, who are these people? And I was like, he's like, what do they know about real estate? I was like, dude, like they all know about real estate. Like these are real estate investors. They have experience. And I told him, I was like, they're just like you, Andy. Like they have the same amount of experience as you. Some of them a little more, some of them a little less, but they're intelligent go-getters. And he asked me questions, man, you wouldn't believe the questions he asked. In fact, some of the questions I went back to Ron. I was like, hey, do we have this? Like that'd be a good idea. We got Dave Wilder on the camera right now. So Dave was another one. He just a good friend of ours who's invested in the past, and he said, I think that you guys could add this to your program. I think that you could add this in the prospectus. We're like, oh, okay, well, let's add that. The way you build your business should be with your friends. It should be with people you like. It should be with people smarter than you. Do it with people who are intelligent, who will watch and keep an eye out for things. Your job is to want to do something great, plain and simple, and make sure it makes money. If you're doing something great and it makes money, other people will be attracted to it. And you can allow yourself some surges. You can create surges, not just for you, but for other people. But it comes from doing what you love. You gotta, so that you're tying multiple things together here. If you love the increments, it's your passion, it's your love, then you've got to scale out a management team. You got to scale out a large management team. You got to bring in other people to help you, because the increments are time consuming. They're very time consuming. With our business, increments are rents. We love rents. We love increments in that particular business. And so we scaled out the management. We found a manager who was looking to grow. We found a manager who was not afraid to hire. See, every manager, by the way, this is for real estate investors. Well, this is for anybody who owns a business, but real estate investors specifically. A lot of property managers will tell you they want to grow. But if they're at 100 units and they're the only person doing things, they're lying to you. They're lying to themselves. They don't know any better. But they're not actually growing. They're not actually building their systems and putting things in place. At 40 units, they need an assistant. At 40 units, they need at least either they're having somebody do the maintenance or they're having somebody handle the calls and the data and putting things into the system. At 100 units, they should have 2 other people operating things. At 200 units, you can probably still run the same size team. But at 300 units, it takes almost double. There's a very interesting space in between where they're just you don't have time to get to the units. You don't have time to go and physically see them at 400 units. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. So the increments require management. If you're scaling an incremental business, you require management. If it was up to me, if it wasn't for the mission, I would have gone in the other direction. I would have absolutely gone with high surges, low increments, like just big surges of money, because I'd already handled my increments. I had my passive cash flow, had the small money coming in, and it wasn't more of that I wanted. But the mission forces us to have increments. Hands to the camera if it's okay that your passion forces you to make more money, that your purpose for being here forces more money. I agree, it's okay. I think so too. And so when I do complain about how busy I am or how much I'm doing, I do it with a smile on my face, right? Because I'm in a conversation with right now 70 people that I have a relationship with, 70 people that I like, 70 people who are building. Each one of you is inspired to build another 100 millionaires. So one day I see a break in the future. I do see at some point I get to relax a little bit, because I see I'm inspiring people who will take on some of the weight. I'm just carrying most of it right now. And I want to talk about our coaches, by the way. Let's give our coaches a round of applause for all the weight they carry for me. I wouldn't be able to have gotten this far if it wasn't for all the volunteering and the dedication and your own coaching programs that you sell. That adds huge value to us. Increments in your business. You ready for the exercise? You ready? Hands to the camera if you're ready for this. Excellent. Have one increment. Have one increment that pays you weekly. Have one increment that pays you weekly. Many of you are like, what? Dude, I've never thought weekly. Why would I? What? Have one that pays you weekly. You need something. It doesn't have to be big. It could be small, but have one that pays you weekly. I see your face, Mitch. I get it. I know what you're thinking. I got one that pays me
That's
hourly.
not what I'm thinking,
daily.
actually. You're completely wrong.
What were you thinking?
I got something that pays me weekly. That's not a big thing, and it's nothing to do with anything you thought. So it's a piece of someone's business I bought years ago, and it's he makes money weekly. So
Equity.
wrong with your thoughts. Stop labeling me and projecting.
That's right.
Excellent, excellent. So weekly, many of you are saying, yeah, of course, obviously, it's got to be weekly. Hands to cam if you're one of those, right? Yeah, like of course, one weekly, one monthly increment, one monthly increment. There should be a monthly increment coming into your life. It can be bigger. It should be bigger than the weekly increment. Should be bigger than the weekly increment. And then you have your surges. Now, if you have an increment that comes in that's like random, I would scrutinize it. I would look at it and say, is this something I can make more stable, or is this something that's wasting my time? Now, if it takes no time, it's something you set up a long time ago and it just comes in automatically, cool. That's fine. Like I'm okay with those. But if you have a random increment that you're going out and you're working on that just doesn't seem to stabilize, doesn't have the ability to stabilize, or it's taking away from your other increments that could scale better, I'm asking you why. Are you doing it just to do it? Yeah, you do it. You're running into the Melanie Santos where she just wants to be busy sometimes, and then she overwhelms herself, and then is thinking maybe I should have picked something else up. Or yes, I love Melanie. By the way, again, Melanie bought another Subway last week, so let's give her a round of applause. Stacking them up. She stacks up Subways like I stack up subs. You can make money in anything. In that business, she makes money weekly. I love it. You know, we do our numbers weekly. Daily. She makes it daily. Absolutely. Hands to the camp if you know you want a daily income business that makes money daily. They exist too. They exist too. I have one. Every day I get a couple dollars that come in. I love that business. It makes me excited. It makes me feel like I'm winning. Day one, boom. Oh wow, a couple dollars in there. Excellent. I'm gonna get more. But that business, what is it, Patrick?
That my main business of running the sober houses, I get hundreds of dollars deposited in my account every single day.
Every single day. So write it on there. If you haven't identified a daily income stream, put it on there as a to-do list. Put it on there as something to do. Now, the monthly income for me has always been kind of my stable space. I like monthly. You know, I like rents. They all come in at one month. I like, you know, big projects. I think in terms of months. I think in terms of years. When you think of terms of years, you should have an annual surge. Everybody in here should have an annual surge. Even corporations think it's true. They get the bonus, right? Instagram, if you know somebody who gets a bonus every year, you should have an annual surge. Sometimes corporate bonuses come from incremental that they saved and they held back from you, and then they give it at the end of the year. But an annual surge could be a flip of a property, like Dorena experienced. It could be a buy and hold that you held for 4 or 5 years that was paying little increments that you eventually flipped, became a surge. Airbnbs, by the way, another daily income, short-term rentals or weekly rentals. So there's a lot of different avenues to make weekly, daily, and monthly. But the weekly and daily, they're small, right? They're small increments. The monthly, it's small, but it's bigger than the weekly and daily. Any money that comes too quickly or too often will be smaller. But money that takes a little bit longer to build, money that takes a little bit longer to create, tends to be bigger. Now, if you spend a lot of time on making this surge and it comes out to be the size of an increment, you wasted time. Hence, I can't agree with that. That's called a bad deal. We've done those too. We have done those too. So I want you to write down one idea that could create a surge for you in your life, unless you're already running with surges, and some people have the opposite situation where they're not running the increments that they should be running. You need both. At all times, you need both. You must have increments, you must have surges. So write down which one you feel strongest in, and then write down which one you want to add to your life. If you're looking for a surge, it could be a sale of a business, sale of real estate. It could be the sale of a new product, a high-end product. You could be flipping a piece of real estate, flipping a coaching program for somebody, flipping a car at a high price. There's a lot of different ways to flip and make, we'll say 25, $100,000, $250,000. For Ron and I, when we look at our flip that we have to schedule next year so we can pay our investors what we promised them, we're looking at somewhere next to an $800,000 flip. Okay, one deal, right? That's one deal to us. I said it to one of my investors, my buddy, and he's like, bro, what are you gonna do? Like 20 flips? And I was just like, Andy, you know me better than that. I'm gonna do one deal and I'm just gonna sell it. I'll buy a $5 million piece of real estate for $4 million and then I'll sell it for 5 and value add and paint the carpet to make it look sexy. Actually, I'll probably buy it for 3.5 and sell it for 5. If I know myself, we'll make 1.5 off of it instead of 800,000. But the deals don't shrink in size. I know guys who went and flipped a property to make $10 million, right? They just flipped a $40 million building. No big deal. So the surge can be as big as you dream and as big as you're willing to invest yourself with, as long as you're willing to take the risk, the time, and the investment in. Sometimes you invest your money. Sometimes you invest your energy. Sometimes you invest your time. Sometimes you invest your knowledge. These 4 elements are transactable, right? Every deal needs money, labor, and the deal itself. Money, labor, and the deal. Every single deal needs 3 elements. So could you increase in surges? And what can you do this week to go and increase your increments? So write this down. What can I do to get myself a raise today? I learned this from Russell Brunson. What can I do to get myself a raise today? Right, Ryan? You like that one? Hell yeah. And then write down, what can I do? This is for the surges, What can I do to get a raise this year? And then for this month, what can I do to get a raise this month? This sentence is powerful. And I know I could see it in your eyes. I could see it as soon as you went down and wrote it on your pen. You're like, oh shit, that's something sparked there. Something inside you was like, man, I've never asked myself this. Right? Maybe if I asked myself this more often, the increments would be a little bigger. Maybe if I asked myself this more often, the surges would be bigger. What can I do to give myself a raise this year? What can I do to do it in a week? Maybe I don't get it done this week, but what could I do? What could I build? Who could I serve? What could I attach myself to that would give me an increase in incremental income weekly, daily, or monthly? Hands to the camera if it's okay. If you're going to look to add, let's say $100 a day, you're looking to add $100 a day to your business, and it takes you a year to figure out how to do it. But after that year is over and you've implemented and put the system in place, you now have $100 a day for the rest of your life. Hands to the camera if that's okay. Yeah. This is the problem with this thinking, is that most people will come in. I say, how can you get a raise today? And they're like, like anything I go to do would take too long. Then spend the time. Because not doing that is going to mean that a year from now, you're making the same money. Be willing to invest the time to get at least one more increment, how to get that raise. And then from that, we can work on the next one. And we can work on the next one. And we can work on the next one. And they all add up. You can't be lazy in this business. You have to think long-term. You have to think with a plan of growth. We never take a step back unless we're jumping forward. I told Dorena this the other day. She's like, well, it feels like we're going backwards. And I was like, babe, there is no backwards. We're going there. Right? I may have walked myself into a cave as a dead end, but I'll just walk back. I'll climb the cave, I'll climb the mountain, and then I'll go to where I'm going. I'm going over there. Like, I'm going to build a $1 billion company and help a lot of people. Millions of people will be affected because of what we're doing as a team, as a community, as coaches, as trainers, as mentors, as investors, as entrepreneurs, as parents, as siblings, as friends. Hands to the camera if you recognize your life is important. You have purpose. You're here for a reason. Yes. And if anybody doubts that, you don't have a reason to spend time with them anymore. If anybody doubts that you're a special person with abilities and knowledge and gifts to give and things to accomplish, man, I don't know why you would torture yourself. There are so many people who see you for what you are, see your gifts, see your abilities. I was telling Mitch the other day, like, man, like people want to know crypto. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, dude, like people want to know crypto. Like they're willing to pay for crypto. I'm willing to pay for crypto. I want to know. I want to learn. I want to learn how to earn. How do I get a raise today, Mitch? How do I get a raise this month? How do I get a raise this year? Like we want to learn. Hands to the camp, you just want to learn more so you can earn more. Truth. That's the truth. I'm teaching a course, actually, Darina, is it the 8th and 9th? It's a weekend event.
Yes, Saturday, Sunday, May 8th, May 9th.
So I'm teaching multifamily passive investing on Saturday and Sunday, May 8th and May 9th. It's a long day. It's going to be a long weekend. I am keeping the price affordable and magical. So here's the magical part. It's $488.88. So 888 is abundance and attracting money. So I decided if I'm going to put a price out there, I'm going to make sure everybody's attracting money when they pay it. So, so that was the theme of the whole principle is we got to get our mindsets right for investing in multifamily, like for passive investment. I don't like single family homes. They're not passive. There's nothing passive about them. They're very active income. Whereas multifamily, the way we invest, I'm going to pull back the curtain on how we invest in South Coast Capital and teach you how to do it. I'm also going to say, hey, invest in my company if you think it's the right move. And I'm also going to say, if you think you can do better than me, I'm willing to coach you and train you and make sure that you can get there. I have two avenues, two purposes in doing this training. One, I'll raise capital and bring in the right investors who have the long-term vision and don't want to be hands-on. And two, I'm going to be able to help people who do have that long-term vision, who just want to make sure they have the guidance and the ability to get there. And we may, as South Coast Capital, invest in those people at some point in the future. So no matter what, I'm raising the community by teaching this course. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. Everything you do, and by the way, this course came from me asking Mike Shine. I was like, Mike, like what course do you think I could teach that I could get an increment, a boost of income, a surge of income? And Mike was like, well, I'd like to learn how to get the $30,000 down payment on multifamilies. I'd like to figure that part out. How do you get that?
30%, 30%.
30%, a 30% down payment. Hands to the camp if you have that question. So I taught Get the Money, right? A while back, Mike was there and I was like, Mike, I taught the course. And he's like, yeah, but 3 hours is not enough. I'm like, wait, how'd you say it? How'd you say it to me?
So, well, we were talking, you said there were 7 ways. I think in your 3-hour course, there are 7 ways. And so in 3 hours, even though it may sound like a long time, it's just not enough time to get really specific and teach people each one of those ways of getting money for the down payment. So just would like that fleshed out, so that we actually see the steps for getting that down payment. Would be awesome.
I'm excited. So I asked the question, how can I get an increase in income? And Mike was like, teach a course. So, and they mapped out the right course to teach. And it's cool. It's a course I've been meaning to teach. It's something I put on my calendar as, I'll teach it one day. One day, and by the way, this is advice for your business. One day is today. Don't put these things off. Right? Hands to the camera, like your life would be better if I taught this class sooner. Right? If I taught this class last year, your life would have been better, right? Okay. Don't put things off because you're hurting other people. It's having an impact on other people's lives. Your big idea that you keep pushing off that you're like, oh, well, I'll get to it one day. That one day is today. Take action on it now. It will be here a year from now. It'll be here 2 years from now. But if you don't take action on it today, it may die. And that idea deserves life. It deserves the opportunity to go and work for you. It deserves the opportunity to go and increase your income. Look, you've got a family. You've got friends. You've got people who look up to you. You deserve more. You can be more. I don't care if you're 65 or 16. You have the ability today to build and increase a piece of income that can earn more in a year from now, in 6 months from now, in 3 months from now, or 2 years from now, right? This training company, Ron and I were shooting in the dark back in 2019 when we started it. Took us a year to turn a profit on it. And then in January, we pulled in $24,000 a month. By the way, I see Julie Bradley. She shot me a text. Let me know the numbers. Let's give Julie Bradley a round of applause, our bookkeeper. She's amazing. She's also a graduate of the Alchemist Nation program. So hands to the camera if you're a graduate, been through the mentorship. Excellent. Let's give yourselves a round of applause. I love you guys. I love that, I know your stories. I know what we're doing together. It is so powerful, and the collaboration that comes from it. So yeah, Julie said, like, this thing's really taken off. It's of all the businesses that, you got going right now, we got the real estate and we got this. Of all the businesses, those two businesses, this one has almost no overhead, right? Whereas real estate, Julie, you can attest, it's heavy, right? It's overhead heavy, right? You got expenses, you got mortgages, you got property managers. Like, it's just nuts. Water, taxes, electricity, insurance. But on this business, we pay Zoom, we pay for our internet connection, we pay for 2 virtual assistants, we pay for a bunch for Fiverr, and occasionally we pay our affiliates. So, and by the way, I think we paid $5,000 in the last 2 months to affiliates. I really want that number higher. I really want to pay my affiliates a whole lot more. Hands to the camp if you want to earn some Alchemist points. Hell yeah. That's freedom points. I want to give them to you. I want to give you some freedom points. So it's been a very fun first quarter. I think you've got a lot accomplished. In the first 10 weeks of the 52 weeks, I think you've accomplished a lot. Hands to the camera if you have. You've accomplished quite a bit. Applying the things you're learning here. The book this week, the 12-week year, is so powerful. And I can't express how, I wish everybody would read it. But if you haven't read the Foundational 5, maybe you should start there, right? Read the Foundational 5, then shift into the 12-week year. But it is a phenomenal book. And then for everybody who really does want to improve themselves, wants to see a little increase of income, take this exercise seriously. This is not a one-time thing. Ask yourself every day, how do I get a raise today? How do I get a raise today? Now, it's not about having 1,000 ideas, right? It's not about having 1,000 ideas. We put one idea on the board and we will do it until successful, right? We put one idea on the board. We said, we're going to do an event. We're going to do a training event. That's the increase. That one idea, that event is an increase. Now, here's the thing with that event. I can teach it again once I've built it. Once I've built it, created the product. So next year I can teach it again. So it'll be an increase next year. So it's a perpetual increase each year. Hands to the camera if you understand it's worth making the investment. Even if it only works one time a year. Even if one time a year it makes that surge, it's worth making the investment. People think I got to build it. It's got to work every month for me. It's got to make money every month for me. No, it doesn't. If it makes money one time and reasonably its lifetime is, it won't make money again for another 6 months. Cool. It's worth building still. It's still worth building. Answer the camera if you grasp that. Excellent. Excellent. I want to open it up to the coaches. Actually, I got to sell the mentorship. So hands to the camera if you know the mentorship is something you're interested in. Excellent. Excellent. Have a conversation with Darina. Oh, Dave Wilder's on the call with us. Let's give Dave a round of applause. He's a financial advisor, very intelligent investor, and just a very good friend. Gives us a lot of great advice all the time. So thank you, Dave, for hanging out with us today. It's good seeing you, brother. Let's, Darina, can you put your link in the chat? If somebody wants to learn more about the mentorship, how to get in, ask you if it actually works and what's involved in what we do. And if you're thinking about the mentorship and you're concerned about whether you should or not, yes, you should, right? If you have to even question yourself, you have to even think like, should I do it or not? It means you want to make more money this year. Then yes, do it. I'll help you make more money, right? If I can't help you make that $1,200 back in, 4 weeks, like I'll give you the money back. Hands to the camera if you realize that's a great deal, right? If I can't get you the money back in 30 days, dude, like either you're not listening to me or that's fine. I'll pay it back. No big deal, right? 30 days. If you haven't earned back $1,200, like, man, I don't know why you signed up, right? We're here to make $1 million, $1 million. Hands to the camera if you know you can make $1 million this year with the right training, with the right systems, right process. If you just had the guts to go after it, if you had the right guides, the right mentors to go after it. Yeah, Halim, there it is, brother. Hell yeah. Of course you could. Millionaires aren't special. We're not special. Like, we're not different. You know, it's not like I was born in a poor family. I had all the same problems, right? Mike's not different. Terry's not different. Mitch is not different. Ryan's not different. Patrick Sullivan's not different. Melanie's not different. Kim's not different. Both Kims. I mean, they're different from each other, but they're not different from you. Right? We're millionaires because we do what millionaires do. But we're normal human beings, right? We breathe, we eat, we have fears, we have concerns. We just know what to do with our money. We just know what to do with our time. Hands to the camera if you are ready to learn to know what to do with your time and your money. Hands to the camera if you knew what to do, the money would be there, right? If you did it, right? If you did it, let me qualify. Knowing what to do is only half the battle. You got to do what it takes. And that's where the hesitation is. I'll tell you right now, if you want to become a millionaire in the next 3 to 5 years, you got to go click the button. It's the only way to get there. I mean, unless you're on a surefire path, unless you know for sure, in which case I'll help you get there faster. Right? I'll be the bumper guards on the bowling ring, on the bowling alley. Hands to the camera if you've ever used the bumper guards on the bowling alley. Adults, yeah, I've done it. I had kids with me, and so I had the excuse to use the bumper. Man, I'm like, whew, I gotta throw that ball down. It always hits the pins every time. Nailed it. Except for the second time I throw the ball down. Sometimes it goes to the same exact space. Very interesting. But with the bumpers, you can get there faster. You can get to where you want to go faster. So if you're already, if you're like me, when I signed up for my $35,000 coach in 2017 or 2018, if you're like me, where I was like, I'm already on track to make, 300,000 this year. What do you got to teach me, bro? And he was like, well, would you like to do it with less stress? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Would you like to make it a little bit more? Would you like to do it in a better manner? Would you like to be able to increase that next year? And I was like, oh, true.
The one that gets me is why only 300?
Right. It's true. And that's what Paul told me. He's like, why would you only make 300? Why not $1 million? And he's like, I could help you make $1 million if you wanted it. And I signed up because I wanted it. Right. $35,000. Hands to the camera if you know $35,000 to learn how to make $1 million every year, because you can't take that knowledge away once it's in there. It's infinite return. So to spend $1,200 to learn how to make $1 million seems like a deal. It almost seems like a crazy deal. Go ahead, Mike Shine. I see your hand.
Maybe at this point you can mention, because a lot of times when people here make 300,000 or make 600,000, there's this old remnant that comes up that says that nobody needs that much money or nobody can spend that much money. And I was talking to one of my daughters yesterday about this, that when you understand like good things that you can do with the money, it's a total mind shift. So I feel like that would be great for you to talk about.
I like that. If you don't know what to do with $300,000 or $1 million, why don't you go change an entire village in Africa? Like, why don't you go change people's lives? Like if you don't understand what you can do with $1 million, like you got to really question whether you're a decent human being. Like you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, who the fuck am I? Like $1 million can feed people, an entire village for a year. It can build houses. It can build schools. It can educate children. Like you got to wake up in the morning and really question your existence on this planet if you're not giving back on that level, right? If you're not earning so that you can be impactful, if you're not if you're just like, okay, I just got to take care of me and my family, that's selfish as fuck. Like that's like there's 8 billion people on this planet who are suffering. 8 billion who are suffering. I'll say there's a handful who figured life out and are actually happy. Hands to the camera if you recognize there's rich people who aren't happy and there's poor people who aren't happy. Yeah. So money hasn't changed happiness, but maybe meeting you could. Maybe you teaching them what happiness is, just self-love. Like, yeah, it was simple, right? But maybe there's people out there who are so hungry, they can't figure out how to figure out food, that they don't have the time to figure out how to figure out happiness. Hence, can't if you understand that exists. It's a reality.
You know,
you gotta make
I'd like
money.
to say something on that.
Yeah.
Because there is a whole faction and a whole push in the world of personal development that is all about self-love and all about trying to do this self-care and do this self, and it's really selfish.
Yes.
It's really, when you start thinking about it, Walter's ambition, my ambition, the other coach's ambition to build 100 millionaires is not for us. It's not for self, it's for others. And the whole idea, when we start to think about what we're doing and why we're doing it, if we're not doing it for someone else, it's selfish, it's self-centered. And, Patrick does sober housing. He makes money off it, but it's for all of those people who he gives a place to be sheltered while they're trying to figure out their lives. Walter, housing people, me, showing people how to make their business make money. All of us are doing it. We're making money doing it. But the goal, the reason, the mission behind it is to help other people find the success that we wanted. And so all of the different self-help programs, self-help books and everything like that, there's this underlying selfishness that's missing the point. And what we really want to hit home to everyone in here is this is not about us. It's about you and your missions. When they're about you, you're off base. When they're about helping other people, that's where we start to move forward, because it's all about how we can help more people do more.
Exactly. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause. I'm going to tell an embarrassing story about the arena before I open it up to the coaches. So last night she tells me, she says, babe, would you ever cheat on me? And I was like, no, I wouldn't. And she was like, well, are you sure? Like, if this girl's really beautiful, whatever. And I was like, babe, no, I'm good. Like, one girl, that's, one thing. I'm focused. And she's like, yeah, but how do I know? How do I know? Right. And girls, can you relate to this? You ever experienced this? Right? Ever been through this one? Of course. It's natural. So it's just human beings being human beings. And gentlemen,
Guys,
maybe we felt
guys
that, right?
too.
You ever
Guys
thought, hey,
too.
maybe. But yeah, I got us, right? And so I told her, I was like, very simply, I was like, babe, like, maybe I haven't expressed this well enough, but I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose, right? I've got a big thing to do here. I don't have time for distractions. I'm building a $1 billion company that will change the planet. I don't have time for anything but leaving an impact. I don't have time for anything other than a legacy that people will know, man, like that community changed this planet. Like that community went out and they made a difference, right? Like I don't have time to be weak. I don't have time for like bad sleep. I can only sleep good. Like I don't have time for junk food. I can only eat good food. I don't have time for this. I told her, I was like, I don't have time for you to feel anything other than love from me, because that's all I experience, because that's all there is. I don't have time to distract myself with anything else, because I've got a big thing to do. When you know your mission, when you know your why, when you attach to something bigger than you, when you attach to something that you know is going to leave an impact, man, sleep feels annoying until it feels amazing, until like you've earned it. Then you're like, yes, I will sleep and I'll figure out the next plan, the next idea to take us to the next level. When you've earned sleep, it feels great. Remember the exercise I gave you last week about earning sleep? I said, focus on gratitude, focus on what you want, focus on the life and dreams that you want. When you've earned it and you feel grateful for it, sleep. Right? Absolutely. You'll sleep like a baby when you feel grateful. When you go to bed sleeping, thinking, man, like everything I want is coming to me. Oh my God, I've helped people today. Oh man, this mission is growing. This business is growing. The people we're impacting are happy. Yeah, you sleep like a baby at night. It's easy. And you wake up and you just go and you do something that allows you to feel that more. My coaching program, I include the 5 love languages for a reason, because you got to know what fuels you. You got to know what your love language is and what to put around you. Maybe I've shared this before. My love language is quality time. Guess why I hang out with you every Saturday? Makes me feel good. I'm hanging out with my people. I'm hanging out with people who want to grow. I'm giving a gift. Apparently, one of my love languages, gifts, that I wasn't very good at acknowledging, was my love language. And I give the gift of knowledge. There's no greater gift on the planet than teaching somebody how to earn more money, how to get whatever they want. Hence the camps you recognize. It's the best gift there is. very simple, right? Create a business around what you love, not selfishly, just so that you could do it more. Like create it so that you know it's an impactful business, and put yourself in a role where you would be so impactful because it fuels who you naturally are. Just put yourself there. Hands to the camera if you know you could do this. Of course you could. Hands to the camera if you're committing to doing this week. Excellent. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. Coaches, I want to open it up. Let's bring on Mike Shine. Mike, actually, Ryan McDermott, just in case there's a soccer game.
Damn, I was so ready. Oh, wait.
Thank you. Yeah, great lesson. It's kind of fun. I laughed when I saw this book, the 12-week year, because it was actually written for my industry. Most financial planners wait until the last quarter of every year to make all their money so that they can qualify for whatever trips that their company is giving and that kind of thing. I've read this book. My firm that I own actually bought the upsells to the book, all of the coaching, the videos, the step-by-step tutorials. So you'd think I would have implemented it, right? Nope. See, I understand the ideas and concepts in this book, but I get stuck like anybody else. Sometimes I get too busy, other times just because there's something I just can't overcome with my natural ability. It doesn't come easy to me, and I flame out. But thank God I found this community and became coachable. Coaches have helped me executed on my dream ideas, helped me get unstuck. Coaches will help me implement this 12-week year. Be coachable. And I'll just say one more thing. As surges, we talk about, financial surges that come into our lives as that relates to my professional work as a planner. If you're about to have one, or you're in a position to receive one into your life, you should have talked to me yesterday. The tagline of our company is choice, not chance. If you don't know all your options when windfalls come into your life, you're at risk of losing them. The same way that like a professional athlete, lottery winners do. So get strategic now. If you don't feel like you're ready to accept those surges into your life in a productive way, just grab a time. Thanks.
Let's give Ryan McDermott a round of applause. I love it. Very true, Ryan. Very true. Solid advice. Mike Shine, I didn't mean to make you second.
Okay.
You're still first.
I just get nervous because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something that I really want to tell everybody. So first of all, I want to mention Jen Sincero, and not just for the women, but I've read every book she's written. I've seen her speak twice, and what Walter was talking about today, she does a great thing in the Green Book about money, talking about what's your relationship with money. Do you treat it well or do you treat it poorly? So that's the first thing I just wanted to point out. Jen Sincero, highly recommend her. She's awesome.
That's where I got it from. Thank you, Mike. Let's give Mike a round of applause on that one alone. Jen Sincero's books, You Are a Badass. If you haven't read them, this is for men and women. She is absolutely intelligent, phenomenal, and she loves my favorite book. She always talks about the science of getting rich. So she's cool with me.
Yeah, awesome. And then since we were talking about parents and kids, I'm a father of 5, and 2 of my daughters are actually on this call. They're amazing with the increments, especially Samantha, my oldest one. She goes online and teaches kids from like Croatia English to get money. She and Hannah are doing DoorDash now. Hannah did like Lyft for a little bit of time, and they're constantly picking up money. But I just wanted to mention something about Samantha, is that so she's got all these increments, and one day she's over and I'm talking about crypto, and she pulls out her phone and she just immediately buys some Bitcoin because I said, buy it. And then the other day she's like, yeah, my crypto's up to $5,000, and she's got other accounts. So she is like a mini queen of increments and surges, and it's so awesome. So that's yeah, it's awesome.
Let's give Sam and Hannah a round of applause. It's great to have you ladies on here. And Sam, I got your texts. We'll figure this picture thing out on Leo Finance. I know Mitch thinks it's perfect, but we'll figure it out. We're going to get our crypto. Mike Shine, let's give Mike Shine a round of applause. Phenomenal feedback. He's a great father, a great investor, a great friend, and a great business partner. And he's a great attorney. That's why I would call him the closer or the holistic attorney. Let's see, who else we got? Terry, do you have Christine with you?
She is, like I said, for the next at least 3 weeks, we're working on a project.
Oh man, I miss Christine already. Well, we'll have a moment of silence for Christine.
She'll be down there with us.
Hell yeah. All right, we're going to see her in a few weeks. Dr. Terry Wager, what would you say is the best gift you could give somebody who's looking to increase income in increments and surges?
Yeah, that's exactly what our business is around, is increments and surges. One of the things that first things I learned from my coach, not Paul, but another coach, is you want to when you're working as a coach, you want to bring in people at full pay, and you want to bring people on payments, because you get the increments and then you get the surges. And when you have programs at different levels, you create different increments, different surges. And so you're serving everyone where they can come in at the same time. You can start to really map out your 12-week year. Your quarters is really what we're talking about. And so the other thing she said is you want to have presentations and things that you can do more surges, and you can start doing joint ventures where you're working with other people and create more surges in your business. So these surges become incremental surges. And that's what we do, is teach people how to take your business that you've been doing increments in and start creating surges in it, because every business has incremental abilities. Every business has surge abilities. But what people end up doing is they get into their business, and we were talking about the e-myth and traction and things in the chat today. And one of the problems that most people get into is when they start their business, they're alone. And so they get in their business, and then they're working in their business instead of on their business. And they don't have the ability to get themselves out of their business. And so they just live incrementally. And that, by the way, I don't think Walter said it, but paycheck to paycheck is incremental. And it's the lowest level of payment. And so when we start working with, okay, how can we create surges? How can we start creating more? That's really what we're talking about. And so how can we take the increments, create surges, make the surges increments, and then start creating tidal waves by relationships, by connections, by joint ventures. And that's where it really starts to take off. And so, Walter and I are joint venture partners. And then I have about 5 or 6 other joint venture partners that I work with on different projects, doing different things that create the continuous surges. And so if you're in a business and you're making all of the money you want, congratulations, I'm impressed. However, if you think you can make a little bit more, or you want to learn how to do that, if you're just starting out, you're not sure what to do, I put my stuff in the chat. Connect, make an appointment, because that's what Christine and I do. We serve this community. We serve a number of communities by showing you how to take your little increments and make them surges.
I absolutely agree with Dr. Terry. That's a very good point. It really is about the surges. Remember my story from the beginning. If I lost everything and I had to start over, I'd go and I'd get my increments right away. But then once I got enough influence, network, and money to go and get my first surge, I'd be on surges only. I'd keep the increments running, but I would have built a business that did a handyman practice that somebody else would have been doing those increments for me. Hence the chemistry recognized that. Would have automated the increments, then shifted into surges and stayed on surges. Right. The problem with most people is they go increment, they find some money, and then they stay increment. Like, it's not about the increments. Increments won't make you successful. They're just necessary. Automate the increments and then go and get your surges. The surges will allow you much more income. Let's give Dr. Terry Wager a round of applause.
You know what? I want to add one thing to that because that's what I do. Some of you have decided, some of you had created this idea in your head. You listened to your own bad advice. By the way, I got a book that talks about that. When I get the money to invest, then I'll take action. And the problem with that is when I get the money is you're already stuck. And so I used to tell one of my friends that he used to go, you know, I'm thinking I'm making a mistake. And I said, whenever you say that, you've already taken about 3 miles down the wrong road when you start to realize that, because it's a pattern and we all live in patterns. And so when you are thinking that, oh, you know what, I got to save up to invest in coaching. And I'm speaking specifically, thank you, Mike Shine. I'm specifically talking about coaching because I had a call last night with a guy who's like, you know what, I got to wait a couple of months to be able to make the money so that I can make more money. And it's like, did you just hear yourself? That's nutty. It's crazy, because we help you take what you already are doing that's making pennies, and we help you to make dollars. If you're making dollars, we help you to make $2 bills, $10 bills. We help you start to create bigger increments. And so Walter, me, the other coaches, when you are not sure about how to get yourself moving forward and you're thinking about waiting, spend the money, invest the money, and start taking action, because it's just going to get you going faster.
Yeah, and I found the people who have the hardest time with this are the ones who've already seen a little bit of success for themselves.
Yep.
Like myself. I waited too long to jump into coaching because I was relatively successful and because I'd done pretty well for myself. I didn't take coaching. I was like, oh, I go to this free training. I'd take what I could, and then I'd go out and I'd implement, and I'd think, man, like I'm crushing it, right? Look at me. And then I went and I finally said, you know what, that's something I've never done before. Let me jump into it. And after that, I realized I should have been taking coaching the entire time, because it would have saved me so much time. Because after I learned something, I realized I need a new network of people. In the coaching programs, I get the network of people immediately. I don't have to go find them. It saves me months. It saves me months of looking for people who have the same vision, the same ideas. Every business plan you build, you're going to need people for. So when you're going into real estate, you need a network. You need people who are, with money, deals, labor, knowledge, skills. And the mentorship's built that. The mentorship's already built that in place. And it's absolutely crazy when somebody says to me, and I love it because I hear it all the time. Yeah, I think, it's good for me eventually. And I'm like, you have no idea. It's good for you today. You're just missing out. Like, you're just self-sabotaging. Like, you're just pushing yourself and your success off into the future. And then you're going to take the course and say, I should have done this sooner. Just like everybody else before you. Hands to the camera if you've been a graduate and you wish you'd done it sooner. Where are my graduates at? Hands to the camera, all the graduates. Excellent. Excellent. I feel the same way. I should have started investing sooner. I should have got a coach sooner. Man, like if you'd seen me at 22, I was full of energy. You think this guy's energetic? You should have seen 22-year-old me when I bought my first house. If somebody had caught me at 21, if I'd had the opportunity, if I'd understood enough and been open enough to the opportunity to work with a coach at 21, before I bought that first house, I would have bought a multi that year instead of a single. And you'd be talking to a billionaire right now. I'd already have done it, right? I know that about myself. I'm an obsessive personality. When I set my eyes on something, when I go after something, as long as I'm fueled with the knowledge and the ability, I'm fueled with the knowledge and the desire, man, I can't be stopped. I have a feeling you're the same way. Hands to the camera if you know you're the same way. Once you see something you want, you just get it. You go get it. That's right. Mentorship's the same way. I just dropped the link in there. That's my personal link. If you know you're ready to go, if you're committed, hit that link. If you need to have a conversation with Darina, can you drop your Calendly in there just to make sure that they understand it's the right investment for them? And I'm not going to drop the ball. I had 100 people through this program already. I haven't missed a single person. Every single one of them is doing amazing. Every single one of them is on their path. Thank you, Terry. You're right. Every so often, I forget how important it is to sell and let people know what we're selling and what it is, because we're leaving people behind if they don't click. And if they don't click, it's my fault. It's personally my fault because I haven't built the relationship deep enough. I haven't identified what you're looking for. Hands to the camp if you know you want to be a millionaire. Hands to the camp if you know you want to be a decamillionaire. That's 10 millions. I'm the pathway to get there. The sooner you get in, the sooner you stop worrying about money. The sooner you get in, the sooner you stop worrying about whether you can go on that vacation or not, whether you can afford that thing or not. The sooner you get in, me, Terry, Mitch, Doug, Ryan, Mike, Christine, Darina, who'd I forget? Wait, who's going to hit me later? We're here to build you. Ron Bolin, not a Coach Bolin. We're here to make sure you get to the next level. Patrick Sullivan, right? Kim Harvey, Kim Rodriguez. Like, we're here to make sure you get to the next level. Let's give our coaches a round of applause. Excellent. Mitch Dorsky, your takeaway. What is your tip for the group?
It's already taken away. I had it when Mike Shine spoke.
Mike, you did it again.
Mike, go again. I want to be like Mike Shine when I grow up. That's what it was. Very simple. Everything you're talking about in the end comes down to passive versus active, investing versus trading. I mean, it's essentially what you're talking about. You got regular income, you got spurts. So if you're investing in stocks, your regular income is holding your investments in dividend paying stocks. Your spurts is making a wild trade on Tesla.
Right, like Mike did.
Investing versus trading, right? If it's real estate, it's rental properties versus flipping, right? So active versus passive, investing versus trading. The simplest way that at least I look at it. So, and should you have both? Probably, or I think it's more about building that passive income, building that massive income from passive income, to quote Mr. Shine, and then having that ability for those spurts to raise capital for things. To when I get presented with, investing in South Coast Capital, it's like, well, I didn't really allocate money for that, but I want to be a part of it. So I'm going to go create some spurt income to get that investment. So active versus passive, investing versus trading. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm not a smart man.
I love it,
That's
Mitch.
basically my 2 cents.
I love it. I like how you shared that. So Mitch, and Mike said it the other day. They're like, how do I get access to the capital that I want to put into South Coast Capital? Because they see it as a spurt, right? They see that as a big, growth spurt. And they just want to be a part of it. Like, hands to the camera if you just want to be a part of it because it's just a cool company to be a part of. Like, we're cool people to work with. Absolutely. And you see the vision where we're going. But they said, man, like, how can I get that money? Because I want to be a part of this. That's the question to ask yourself. How can I get it? How can I get it? Right? When they see something they want to invest in, they're like, man, like, okay, what spurt can I go create? Because they know increments aren't going to solve this problem, right? Increments aren't going to solve a $50,000 or $100,000 investment.
And Galter, to add to that, I mean, the good problem is there's opportunity everywhere. Like, I don't care what anyone says, like money is not a problem. Like, no, I can always outspend the investment. Like, there's opportunity everywhere. And if I could, I would invest in everyone and everything, but you have a finite supply. And yes, I can create spurt income, but it's not infinite. All right. I'm not Jeff Bezos yet. So therefore, you got to pick and choose. But there is opportunity everywhere. So like, that's just a sidebar because there's a lot of people that feel like there's no opportunity. And I don't know what planet you're on, but it's not this little blue marble we're spinning on because there's really opportunity everywhere. It might just be a matter of time because you position yourself there through networking. That's why you have these catchphrases like, your network is equal to your net worth. I mean, it's true. The larger you expand that, the more opportunities you get. So I personally am in a position now where I'm turning down opportunities. And 10 years ago, I was not in that position. So just keep networking, keep working, keep growing, keep investing, keep, stay busy, stay working. In fact, Coulter, here you go. You'll love it. I'm going to quote a hip hop song. It says, treat everything like when you were an intern. Stay busy, stay working. And Coulter mentioned his 22-year-old self. Well, you know what? 22-year-old me is very different than now. That energy level, not there anymore 20 years later. You know what I mean? That stay busy, stay working. I have to pay mind to that, because when I was in my 20s, I would grind. It was about, it was about working. It was about achieving. It was about growing. Now it's like, well, I kind of want to be lazy, but at the same time, I still want to be productive and active. I don't want atrophy. I want growth. I want to help other people grow. So, it's about kind of keeping that mindset in the forefront so you don't become complacent, because it's easy to become complacent, especially when you've found some success. Anyway, I'm ranting now. I'm done.
I love it, Mitch. I love how you said, I'm not a billionaire yet. You emphasized yet.
I want to be Mike Shine when I grow up.
That's the truth, brother. That's the truth. It's so simple to discount yourself, but it's just as easy to believe that you're capable. Just as easy to say, you know what, I'm just going to go do this. I'm just going to get some. How do I do it? How do I get the money to have the investments that make me feel good and that make me a lot of money? How do I get the money for that investment? How do I do it? I might not be a billionaire yet, but I know this is the thing I want to be in. How do I make that one thing happen? How do I get in on that? And then when you see the next one thing, as long as it doesn't take away from your other one things, you can go and move into that one. As long as it adds to them, it adds value to them. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Like Mike. Mike got on Tesla, then he got on Bitcoin, and he's got on real estate, and he's going through, and he goes back, and then he goes and puts a little more in Tesla, a little more in Bitcoin, a little more in his law practice, a little more in real estate. Once they're built, you just keep going back and you keep adding to them. Hands to the camera if you know you can do this. Yes, of course you can. Of course you can. Darina, you're up. Where is she?
I'm here. Yes, thank you. Thank you for being so honest about our relationship in front of everybody.
You're welcome.
We're all
Hands to
friends
the camera
here.
if you like those little shares, a little behind the scenes. Yeah, we're only human, right?
Sure, but a lot of great points today and a lot of ahas as always. One thing that really resonated with me is money could be your best friend, and really identifying what's your relationship with money right now. I know Mike Shine mentioned, Jen Sincere, she talks about it, Walter talks about it, because if you imagine, like, how often do you see the money? Like, okay, like once a month, once a week, daily? Is it your best partner, best friend? Or does money go on vacation or whatever, business trip, and you're like, oh shit, I really miss it. Like, I got to do something and get it back. Well, think of it as like your spouse. It's like your best lover, where you want to see it every day. And what kind of love language money have, right? And you just choose to love money and do what money loves. So, and money comes to you if you add enough value. So love yourself, love your money, and really make that relationship grow and consistent and amazing. And when you are two of you, you can do best things on earth and help the mission, help Walter, help everyone here. So that's kind of my takeaway. I love it. And a little exercise that I got from Walter is to really write down what are my money relationships are right now. And it's perfect for the weekend, for Sunday. Like, how are we together? Like, how often are we together? And the ideal relationship with money. And that's my next to do. And I'm excited. And again, this training is just I see Mike Shine, you're like, those are my buddies, the dollar bills are my best friends. Thank you. And that's my takeaway.
Let's give Darina a round of applause. It's not easy dating me, right? It's not easy always being picked on our calls and being the heartbeat of the community, connecting everybody together. Let's give her a round of applause for everything she does. She's huge value to us, and I appreciate you personally and professionally. Let's see, who else Who else?
Doug McGurk.
Doug McGurk. Freedom hack now. Doug, you're
Right
up.
on. So awesome as always. And to reiterate the theme, everything is relationships. And right now, like if you're just on this, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I got this. Sorry, I got that from Green. Everything that we're doing here, like if you're here on the just showing up on the weekends or you're reading a book, that's incremental, right? That's an incremental investment in yourself. Now, if you want to surge, if you want to now take it to the next level, this is an opportunity to invest in yourself with the mentorship, with the coach, with Terry. This is why it's so important to get on your calls with the coaches so you can start unpacking their mindset and their relationship with money and investing, because everyone will go, oh yeah, I want to love money. We also need to learn to love the investment, the risks, the challenges, the opportunities, and the stretching necessary. Because if you were listening to Walter and he was talking about, flipping for 800 to 1.5 million as a single deal, and you're like, oh, well, that's normal. That's okay. You're in the right place to be around people who have a different relationship with money. And then you get to build off of those relationships by interconnecting and all that. Because the truth is, you may know somebody who you could bring into the community to help create the opportunity to add even more value, which then you get to be a part of, to learn from, to partner with. So the first and most important investment is in, of course, yourself. So be the leader that you are destined to be so you could help create even more millionaires with us. And that's all I have to say about that.
Let's give Doug McGurk a round of applause. If you don't know, Doug toured with Tony Robbins for 3 years, worked with him, did his stage trainings. He was actually a coach in Tony Robbins' program, helping coaches and helping other people build their businesses and get, release their mindsets. He's an NLP master. He's a hypnotist mastery. He's done all of these different elements to stage speaking and communicating with people and building relationships. And I was asked the other day, what would you invest if you only had a few $1,000s, if you're, small investment? My point, like when I say this to somebody who only has a couple $1,000s, like when I say, sign up for the mentorship, what I'm saying is $1,000 invested in anything is not going to change your life. But $1,000 invested in you, like an increment in you, or that may be a surge for you, invested in yourself, is going to change your life, because now you'll learn how to attract more. You'll learn a new business or a new model that will allow you to attract more. Doug, you're right. Some like my $35,000 programs I've invested in, those are surge investments in myself. They have, a lot involved with them. I learn a lot. I grow a lot. This coaching program, this training company, this real estate business wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for those big surge investments I made in myself. The incremental investments that got me to that surge were necessary to get to that surge. $1,000 programs, $10,000 programs, $5,000 programs that I paid for, and I earned and learned from. They were incremental learning opportunities. Hands to the camera, if you know, you got to take some increments with the surges. Yes, this is an increment. And for some of you, it may be the surge. Who knows? The dollar amount is not connected to the value you'll take out of it. You'll take significantly more than the value of the dollars that you're putting in. And that's how training works, because it's compounds. It comes back. You reuse it. It keeps evolving and expanding, and you get more out of it each time. Well said, Doug. I love that. That you can incrementally and surge your knowledge, which then incrementally surges your income in your business. Patrick Sullivan.
Mr. Walter.
Increments and surges, my friend.
So I'm very much both of them, as you pointed out, that my main real estate endeavor now, I really get paid incrementally for it. Every day we look at the bank account, and sometimes you get $100 in there, sometimes you get $1,000 in there, but there's a deposit in my bank account pretty much every single day, because all of our tenants pay weekly, but there's so many of them that it ends up being on every single day of the week, and credit cards get run, things get deposited, and I get my money the next day, or is it 2 days on the weekend? They're always there, but and it's consistent and it does things and it pays the bills. But then I also randomly flip houses and do other things. So you get the huge check and that buys another place. Because getting a couple $100 a day, operates the business, pays the bills, and does everything, but it doesn't buy more property really. But it's always nice to flip a house to make 50 grand real quick, and then that certainly buys another one. But to
Surge.
expand on your people not knowing what they can do with money, that's the kind of thing that very rarely do you ever hear someone says that actually has money, because you don't know what you don't know about it. And for us, the way that we operate our sober housing stuff, we're actually the largest growing sober house in all of New England, probably the whole country, as far as I know. We've only been doing it for 7 months now, and we're the third largest operators in the state, and we're going to be the largest operators in the state in about 60 days. And we're on track of adding something like 1,000 beds this year, with actually a couple of people in the room are involved in a lot of that. Compared to, there are nonprofit organizations that do the exact same thing that I do, and they do it quality wise the same thing that I do, and they've been doing it for 20 years, and they have 3 houses, and they are currently helping 50 people. I'm going to be at 1,500 by the end of the year because I'm doing it in a way to make money. And those bit places and us generally charge about the same amount of rent. So it's all just a matter of how you do it. It's not like we're just charging some exorbitant amount. We just have a different idea of how to do it to actually get things done.
Well said. Let's give Patrick Sullivan a round of applause. It's about being creative, adding more value, just doing it better than everybody else. There's plenty of opportunity on this planet. The opportunity has not been monopolized. And if you've read The Science of Getting Rich, that book was written 100 years ago. He said opportunity has not been monopolized. In fact, with technology, it creates more opportunity. As the culture changes, as COVID hit, it created more opportunity all over the place. And so opportunity that may have been monopolized got shook up, and now it created new opportunities, because we saw a lot of businesses just completely drop off the stock market during COVID. Other businesses skyrocketed. New opportunities are created every day. There's new opportunities everywhere. And you ask anybody with money, our biggest problem is figuring out what the best investment for our money is. We sit there saying, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's better, that's good, that's better. And so the biggest problem is, okay, I've got all of this money and I want it to go to the best returns on investment, because it's like our child, or it's like your spouse. Like, you want the best for it. You want it to do really well. You want to put it into something that's going to grow and improve and come back to you happier with more. Hands to the camera if this is a valuable training today. Excellent. Kim Rodriguez and Kim Harvey, I want to see what your take on the subject is. We'll do it in that order. Go ahead, Kim Rodriguez. Kim R.
No, I wasn't ready for that.
That's why I'm putting you first.
I
Kim
know
Harvey
you
can handle
are.
this
You
in a
do
second.
that to me. You love putting people on the spot. I appreciate it. There was a lot of information here today, and and I never really thought about breaking it down to even smaller than, into the daily and to the weekly, which can truly have an impact. And then in just getting your mind to think creatively.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
And getting your mind to think differently about how you see money, right? That's what this is all about, is getting your mind to think differently and open up to the possibilities of a bigger and better future for you and others. Those are my 2 cents.
Let's give Kim Rodriguez a round of applause. That's more than 2 cents. That was a couple $1 million worth of advice right there. Kim is a high income earner. She wants to give back to women. She wants to support and empower everybody, not just women, but she has a special, sense for women who've been through things. We'll put it that way, who've been through some tough time, been through some tough relationships, and want to empower herself. She's in the top 1% of income earners. She flips real estate with her husband, has a great relationship with her husband, has 7 children. 7 children. No excuses. Ladies, she's impressive, isn't she? She's got the same amount of time in a day as you do. Every day, she only has 24 hours to play. Kim Harvey, the queen of multiple businesses. She's gonna be
Hi,
like
guys.
the Richard Branson of the Alchemist community.
Thanks. I'm sitting looking at my shop right now, waiting for somebody else to pull in. So sorry, I had to duck out for a bit. Had some customers. So this is my incremental daily dose of having my shop in my backyard. So my thoughts on this subject are, it's the increments and the surges. Definitely, I've been grinding for years with my businesses and finally have branded and established my businesses so that one hand feeds the other, per se. I shared with Walter yesterday that I did a COVID pivot helping local artisans, and I am now supporting 16 local artisans officially for in the Little Brown Barn Boutique. So please follow us on Instagram and Facebook with the COVID pivot, with the postal service being the way it is and no farmers markets. I took a storage barn in my backyard and made it into the Little Brown Barn Boutique and to support local, shop local people. And it's just blown up. It's been super well received, awesome. Supporting retired elderly artisans in town, et cetera, et cetera. I have Love Your Home Designs. I also am an EXP realtor. And, talk about the surges and the increments, and it's all about diversifying your portfolio, basically, with businesses and supporting people and helping people locally make their businesses more profitable. And there was a lot of content here, so it's awesome. I love it. I'm addicted. If I had internet out in my barn, I'd be sitting out there right now, but I don't. So yeah, it's great to see everybody. It's good to see this community growing the way it is.
And Kim just texted me yesterday. She told me that her barn supplied her with 8 buyers for her real estate business. And she's also running a decorating business. So those buyers could end up being buyers down the road in all businesses. So it's how can I create a business that services and supplies my other businesses? Let's give Kim a round of applause, and all of the coaches. Thank you for your time, your dedication. Thank you for your success, because it makes it easier for everybody else. Hands to the camera if it makes it easier seeing that you're hanging out with millionaires and they're just like, hey, yeah, I'm a normal person. This is what I do. Like, this is how it works. It makes it easier for you to grasp that, man, like, you don't got to be special to be a millionaire. You've just got to decide to do something that can become $1 million business. I hope to see you in the mentorship. I want to see you in there every Monday night at 8 p.m. If you haven't decided yet that you deserve it, man, like I want you to know you do. I want you to know that it's possible for you. I want you to know that we can get you there, and we will get you there. We're committed. Once you put your money up, we're essentially your slave, right? We're your millionaire in your cell phone that you can text anytime and say, yeah, how do I do this? How do I do this? What do you think about this idea? Hands to the camera if you know it's valuable. Don't wait for your success. Take action. It's just like real estate. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to get the knowledge. Take the knowledge and invest it. Take the knowledge and put it to work. The sooner you do, the sooner your returns come in, the sooner your life changes, the sooner you're retiring wherever the hell you want to live with your family, happy, successful, and living the life of your dreams. I'm living in Tampa right now. I always wanted to be in Florida, right? Eventually I just said, you know what, why am I still in New England? Screw it, I'm out. I had the choice because I built financial freedom for myself. And I changed my business so I could live the way I want to live. I made it virtual. COVID, and in a time where everybody else was saying this is a problem, I was like, this is an opportunity. It forces me to close down my location in person and allows me to go virtual. Hands to the camera if you're glad we did that decision. Makes it a lot easier for you to get to where you want to be. Cheers to your success. We have a choice. Always work with the best.
The best.
I'll see you next week.